Hello there, it's Carol here, and I'm on number 5. So this is number 5 in the selection of videos where I'm creating a journal over the weekend. So I challenged myself to see if I could do it. The first thing that I want to do is I want to make some pockets, because you've got to love a pocket, and I'm going to work my way through this pile of papers. So I'm going to be making pockets in this video, and then in the last one, I think it'll be the last one, we'll see, I'm going to show you how I'm going to decorate it a little bit further and make some different little elements to go in the journal as well. Okay, so the first 2 pages that I'm going to be using are these 2. Okay, so that's page 19. Not got a clue what page number that one is. And I've cut all the white bits off them already. Okay, and this is just going to be simply folding it into the centre at the back, making sure that the edges are square, and then folding that edge over so that it just overlaps this lip a little bit. Okay, and then I am going to place a line of glue along this edge here. Fold it back over and let it stick down. Now my folding isn't always spot on, so I'm just going to trim off that end a little just to straighten it up a bit. Have a look at the other end as well. Oh, other end's all right. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with this one. So fold it over roughly to the middle. Fold that one over so that it overlaps to the one. Open it back out. Let me just see how much of an overlap I've got. Yeah, so I'm only overlapping a little bit, so if you can see that, because the sun is very bright here today, so I'm overlapping that a little bit. What, 1/4 of an inch ish, 3/8 of an inch ish, very ish. Glue down that one edge. Okay, so this one, the glue should have now gone off. I'm going to fold it in half. Pen folder. And what I can do with this one, I'll just show you in this first signature so that you can get an idea, is that I would unfold it and then sit it in there like so, and I've then got a pocket to use here, so I could put a thumb hole in that as well, and then I could put a tag in there and then have all sorts of bits hanging off the tag, so that would look quite pretty. The other thing that I could do, and again I'll show you in this, let's do it on that page, I'll show you in this signature, do it on that side, so that again you can see is, where's that fold there, so I'm going to fold that in half again. I still want it in half. Now let's do it a little bit lower down. So a little bit lower down. And then using the bone folder to just crease it. And the other thing that I want to do with this one is I want to use one of my Martha Stewart punches go in there, make sure it's centralised. Don't want to angle, let's angle that edge. Yeah, and I'll do the same with the top piece. I'm just going to turn it this way a bit because it's double the thickness of paper. Needed a little bit of pressure. Okay, and this one I'm going to cut like that, sort of slightly on the curve. And then two ways of doing this. One is to just glue it down the sides, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 pockets, 4 if I glue around the 3 sides on the back, but you know, you can have too many pockets as well. But the other thing that you could do, let me just think this through a minute. Yeah, I'll do it and then you can see, you can make your own mind up then, was to just put a piece of glue just down that centre part down there. So that then you could pull that quite wide open, and it starts to pull the top one open as well. And then that could sit on there, and I could add a little decoration on top of there as well. So then I've made 2 pockets already within the first 5 minutes. Okay, so it doesn't take much to make those kinds of pockets. So I'm going to take those out for now, and I'm going to make a little box at the side of me and put these ready-made items into my box, because I want to ink up the edges and that as well. Okay, the next one that I want to make is what I originally called, when I first came up with this, was ghost pockets. And so here's several pages that I've chosen to be able to do that. So this blue tip one is a great example. So I'm going to cut around the shape. Now you could see about ripping around the shapes as well. Now the most difficult part about doing this is I've got to find the page now in my journal. Okay, bear with me whilst I try and find the page. Oh, that wasn't hard, was it? So, let's move these out of the way so you can see a little bit better. So now that's cut out, that's my page, that's the cut out bit. I would actually glue that on top so that you've now got a tuck spot pocket, And again, I would ink up around the edges of these and then stick those on the top. And I called it a ghost pocket because obviously there's the ghost part, as in it's there underneath as well. All right, so you can do that with quite a lot of the images. You can also cut them out and use them on their own, so you could actually add them to a blank page as well. So I'm going to go through all of these and cut out these images and put them in my little box, and then once they're inked up I will then add them to the journal. Now I'm going to cover this one next because it's there and I can see it. So where's the paper? There. Right, I want my board. There. I want my craft knife. So I want to cut out this bench. I'm just roughly following the outline of the shapes that are there. So I'm trying to keep an evenish border away from the edge of the design. Okay, so that's the image that I want. And then I want my craft ruler. And I'm going to cut a line following the top edge of the wrought iron part of the bench. So I've now got this slit in the top part there, and I'm going to cut another line directly underneath it by a mere millimetre, just so as I can make a little bit of a slot. Now I'm going to have to bring this just nearer to me a little bit for a minute whilst I cut this next bit out. See if I've cut through it enough. No. So I've now got, you can see my finger behind there, there's a little tiny slot just behind there. And what I'm going to do is I want this part here to not have any glue. And so I'll put glue on this edge, and this edge. Put that on there because I don't want to chop my fingers off unnecessarily. And then that will slot on there, so you wouldn't be able to tell from that that I've actually added something on top of it. But I've now got a little slot in there that I could actually either hide a piece of paper or a little mini tag, or I could add a big tag and have the tag coming out of the top and then pull it out and you're left with the full image in its place. So that's another type of pocket that I'm going to add. And then the next one that I want to add, let me just see if I can find the page first. There's two more that I want to show you. There's one. Take the whole signature out. So I want this one, the one with the plant pots on, okay? And I've got two of these printed off. Okay. One's cut out already, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up there, and then I'm going to cut across the top of the plant pots. and that will sit on top of there. And what I will do with this piece is I'll put glue around this edge, the bottom edge and that top edge, so that that will then sit on there. And then with the other piece of paper that I printed out the same, let's cut this bottom edge off first. Let's see if I can cut a straight enough line. If not, I can soon print off another piece of paper, can't I? Okay, so the first one's fairly easy to do. Now, I didn't cut it very straight at all. Okay, this one's not quite so easy because the butterfly's in the way. What I would do is I would stick those onto we'll start again. I would stick these onto a file folder or some other card and cut them out the same size and then trim off the corners. Let's do one and then you can see then, can't you? Let's get my collal glue out. Straight down this bottom edge. There's one. Might as well do all three whilst I'm here. There's two. And three. Just need to wait a minute for that glue to go off. Okay, just going to cut these out. Cut a little angle off at the top. Flip that bit over so I can see that it's the same. And then what I would do is once my plant pots are then glued onto the page, I've made a pocket for a little tag that is the same In fact, I'll probably have to cut the bottom of that off because the glue at the bottom of this pocket will prevent it going all the way in properly. So if I chop the bottom off, and then that would be glued on there, and then that will slot in there, and it's a little tag, and it becomes then, you know, a little ghost tag from the pocket that I've made using the original digital. Okay, and then if you imagine the other two will be slotting in there as well. Punch a little hole in the top. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Now I'm going to do a similar thing with this one as I did with one of the previous ones. I'm going to cut out this ladder. And I'm going to cut it about there, about there. And cut the top bit off. And then again with my craft knife and ruler, I'm just going to cut a little slot there across the top rung of the ladder, another one on the next rung of the ladder, one on the next rung. Okay, so I've got a little slot there, a little slot there, and a little slot there. I might take that right the way across actually. So right the way across there. I don't want to chop the butterfly off, so we'll leave that one shallow. Okay, so I've got 3 little slots. And again, what I would do is I would place glue around all 4 sides and stick that down on top. And I've then got some secret little slots that I can just slot some pieces of paper in. Alright, so you kind of get the idea of we're mimicking what's already there, but it's a bit of an illusion, because it's actually something else that you've created within that. Okay, so I think that I'm going to leave it there for this one. You've got an idea of how I'm adding some of the pockets and what to do with these leftover pieces. Well, again, I could make these into pockets again, so I could fold that one up like so and end up with another pocket. I could make tags out of them. So with this one, with this piece that's left, I've probably cut a nice big fat tag out of that bit. Where was the other one I cut up? This one. This would make a really nice border across the top of one of the plain pages, so I might fussy cut that out a little bit and add that across some of the pages. The same with this one as well. That's a nice little border to cut out. So don't think that you're only printing it off and you've done all of that and then you're wasting all of this, because you're not, because you can utilise these things. You know, you could fussy cut out that one and add that on a pocket as a pocket on another page, or even another journal. Okay, so use and utilise all the bits that you've got and make some pockets. So that's what this one's all about. Thanks very much for joining me. Quick, cheap and cheerful one to, in this video, but you'll see it all come together towards the end. And in the next video, I'm going to show you some other decorative elements that I'm going to make to put in my journal as well. See you in the next one. Bye for now. Bye.